Hi, hello, welcome to Sudoku Pro. This is a four-star puzzle. Let's start with checking for 6 across rows and columns. Let's start with this 6. There is a 6 here and a 6 here. This 6 blocks here and this 6 blocks here. So there is an empty cell which takes 6. Now coming here, there is a 6 here. So this 6 blocks here, this 6 blocks here, and there is a 6 here which blocks here. So this cell takes 6. So this 6 again blocks here and this 6 blocks here and this 6 blocks here. So we have this empty cell which can take 6. Again, this 6 blocks here and this 6 blocks here and there is a 6 blocking here. So this empty cell takes 6. Now again this 6, this blocks here, this 6 blocks here, and we have 2 6 here blocking these two cells. So this cell takes 6. Now let's try to fill this middle section of blocks. Let's start with this 4 6 pair. So you can see a 4 6 pair here and a 4 6 pair here. So obviously there should be a 4 6 pair in this row. We already have a 6 here, so naturally this cell takes 4. Now this 4 blocks here and we have another 4 here which blocks here. So this cell naturally takes 4. And moving here, we have a 9 blocking this cell. So this cell can take a 9. And now we have a 3 here, 3 blocking the entire center column. So these two cells are the only cell that can take 3. So let's mark with 3. Now this 3 acts as a ghost number. So it blocks this cell. This 3 blocks this cell. So this empty cell takes 3. Now you can see a 3 9 pair here, a 3 9 pair here. So there is a 3 9 pair here and a 3 9 pair here. So that obviously says that these two cells will be a 3 9 3 9 pair only. By now, in this column, there are 2 cells which are missing. The missing numbers are 2. You have 3 here, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So it is 2, 7, 2, 7, 2, 7, and 2, 7. Let's mark it. Fine. So now in this block, if you see 1 is blocking here. So obviously this cell takes 1. And there is only one empty cell and the missing number is 2. So let's fill this with 2. Moving up, there are 2 empty cells and the missing number are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 is missing basically. As it is 5 is blocking here and there is a 5 blocking here, so we get a 5 here. So that leaves with one empty cell and the missing number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 is missing here. So that cancels out the 7 here. This becomes 2 and this becomes 7. Fine. So we have only two empty cells here and the missing numbers are 1 and 2 naturally. We don't have any other clue for 1 and 2, so let's keep it as 1, 2 complementary pair. Okay, now that we have completed the middle section, let's move on to systematic checking of numbers. Let's start with 1. So we have 2 1 here, 1 here and 1 here. So that blocks these two cells and we have 1 in these two cells. So let's mark it. Okay, other than that, there is no much help with 1. Let's move on to 2. So there is a 2 here and 2 here. So these two blocks these two cells, and here we have 2 here and here. Fine, moving on to 3. And so that we have a 3 here and 3 here. So these 3 blocks these two rows and we have 3 here and here. Moving on to 4. Let's take this 4 and this 4. So this 4 blocks here and this 4 blocks here. So these two cells takes 4. So now these two 4 acts as a ghost number and blocks these two cells. This 4 blocks here and we have a 4 blocking here. So obviously this cell takes 4. So this 4 blocks here and we have a 4 blocking here and there is a 4 here. So this central cell takes 4. And now this 4 blocks down here and this 4 blocks down here. So and we have a 4 blocking. So these two cells take 4. It's very important to write the 4 very in small letters, otherwise we'll get confused. Fine, moving on to 5. Okay, we have a 5 here and a 5 here. So these blocks these two rows. So these two cells possibly take 5. Fine, there is no other 5, much of 5. Okay, here we have a 5 and this 5 blocks here. So there are 2 cells which can take 5, this one and this one. Fine. We have already done the cross checking of 6. Let's move on to 7. So we have a 7 here and a 7 here. So these blocks these 2 rows and we have 7 in these 2 cells. Sorry, there is a 7 blocking here, so 7 in these 2 cells. Fine. So we have a 7. Okay. We have a 7 here which blocks these two cells and a 7 here which blocks these two cells. So these two cells possibly take 7. Let's mark it. Fine. Now moving to 8. We have 8 blocking here and this 8 blocking here. So these two cells take 8. Fine. With 8, I had a very interesting observation. So these two 8s actually block this cell, and here this 8 blocks this cell. This 8 blocks this cell, and this 8 blocks here. This is the only cell of this entire column which can actually take 8. Let me repeat it. So you have in this column you have 1, 2, 3, 4 empty cells. All these 4 empty cells are blocked by 8. Here this 8 is blocking. Here this 8 is blocking. Let me mark it. And here this 8 is blocking. Here you have this 8 blocking. This cell is blocked by this 8. So this is the only empty cell which can take 8. Fine. So this 8 is actually going to help us in a lot of way. So this 8 blocks here, and this 8 blocks the top row, and we have 8 here. So obviously the center cell takes 8. That means this becomes a bigger 5. Fine. So this 8 impacts this 8. So this 8 cancels out, and this becomes a big 8. So this 8 blocks here, this 8 blocks here, and these two cells take 8. And moving down here, similarly, this 8 blocks here and this 8 blocks here. So these two cells take 8. So 8 is done in all the blocks. Let's move on to 9. 9, we have a 9 here and a 9 here. So these blocks, these two rows. So these two cells take a 9. Okay, other than that, we don't have much help with 9. If you take this row, there are 2 empty cells and one cell has a complementary pair 3, 9. That means the other cell also, the other only empty cell should also have the complementary pair 3, 9. But if you see, there is a 3 blocking here. So that means this cancels out the 3 and this becomes 9. This cell becomes 3 and this cell becomes 9. Now let's see the impact. This 9 blocks here and we have a 9 blocking here. So this cell takes 9. Now this 9 blocks here, this 9 blocks here. So this cell takes 9. So this obviously becomes 7. Fine. Now there is this 9 locking here and this 9 locking here. Okay, fine. This 9 locking here and this 9 blocks, these two cells. So this cell takes 9. So this 9 impacts here. So here the 9 gets cancelled out, and actually this cell takes 9. So I think now all the blocks have 9. Fine. Now take the first row. There are 3 empty cells. The missing numbers are 2, 5 and 7. So if you consider this column, 2, 5 is already there. So this cell takes 7, and the balance 2 cells take 2, 5 pair. They become complementary pair, 2, 5 pair. And coming to second row, then there are again 3 empty cells, and the missing number here are 1, 5 and 8. So again you have a 5 and 8 here in this column. So this cell takes 1, and the balance 5, 8, 5, 8 goes here, and you have 5 blocking here. So this cell takes 8, and this cell takes 5. Now because of this 5 gets cancelled out here. This 5 gets cancelled out, and this becomes a 2, and because of this 2 it impacts here, and so this 2 gets cancelled out, and this becomes a 5. Now moving down, that leaves this column with only 2 empty cells. The missing numbers are 3 is missing, 5 is missing. So here you already have a 5, so this cell takes 3 and 5 goes here. Fine, that leaves with these 2 cells missing in this entire block. So the missing numbers are 1 is missing, and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 is missing. 1 and 7 are missing. 1 and 7. So let's keep it as a pair. We don't have much of clue. Fine. Then moving down here, let's take this block. We have lots of number missing here. We have 3 blocking here and 3 blocking here. So this cell takes 3. We already have a 8 which blocks here. So this becomes 8. Fine. So in this row, there is only one empty cell. Since the other cell is a complementary pair, this also becomes a complementary pair. The same logic goes here also. In this entire block, there is only one empty cell. So this also becomes a complementary pair naturally. Fine. If you see here, this cell, basically this is the only empty cell, and this cell has the possibility of taking 1, 2 and 7 here basically, but you have 1 blocking this cell and there is a 2 blocking this cell, so that means the cell can take only 7. So let us fill this with 7, which blocks which cancels out this 7. So this becomes 1 and this becomes a 7, which leads to this one here, 1 getting cancelled out, this becomes 2, and this 2 gets cancelled out and this becomes 1. So this impacts here, it cancels out 1 here and this becomes a 2, and here it cancels out 2 and this becomes 1. Fine. So moving down here, because of this 7, this becomes 4. So this becomes, so this 4 gets cancelled out here, and this becomes 2. Naturally, the only missing cell is empty cell is this one, and it takes 4. That impacts here, and this cell takes 1. Now the missing only empty cell in this row is this, and the missing number is 1, 2, 3. So if you see in these two, in this row, there are 2 empty cells, and the missing numbers are 1, 2 and 3. So here we have 2 blocking, so obviously the cell takes 3. And this cell takes 2. Coming down, there are again 2 empty cells, and the missing numbers are again 2 and 3. So here 3 is blocking, so this cell takes 2, and this cell takes 3. Fine. So again 2 empty cells, and the missing numbers are 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 and 5. So 1 blocking here. So this cell takes 5, and this cell takes 1. And we have completed the puzzle. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like and share it with a person who loves solving Sudoku. Thank you.